In this rerun video, we're sharing some great tips and strategies from my colleague, Dr. Erica Jordan, on preparing for life after college. In this video in particular, we're talking about the sophomore year and all the things you can be doing to make sure that you're on track.
Okay, moving on to sophomore year. So graduate school track, if you continue to be unsure about your major, now you've got to do some more deep soul searching at this point. Continue exploring throughout your sophomore year because it becomes a little bit trickier to make changes after your sophomore year. So continue to take that time, keep taking the classes if you still feel like you want to go that way, but really be honest with yourself and be sure that you're really committed to that major. Be sure that you're committed to writing it out. And that you've also explored alternatives. There might be similar majors out there that kind of take a different angle or a different direction. Be sure that those are not a better fit for you. If you are pretty confident, you like this area that you're in, definitely try and get involved in a research lab on campus if your area is in a field that involves research. Ask who's accepting new undergraduate research assistants. Apply, put thought and time into your application. If they require a resume or something, put thought and time into that, have somebody proofread over it. It's just like you're applying for a job in some cases. So try to get that experience so that you can be sure that you like research. Now, other programs that maybe their graduate programs are not as focused on research, you want to be sure that you're getting some practical experience. Begin to start to get some practical experience that's related. So, if it's a graduate program that you're looking for that be heavily focused on clinical skills. Maybe you could get some experience volunteering perhaps at the local crisis center or crisis hotline. If you're going to apply to graduate school, for most people, if they want to go right after they graduate, then they need to be applying during the fall of their senior year. So what really counts in terms of your grades is your sophomore and junior year. So continue to keep those grades up and reach out for resources again if you're struggling. Reach out for tutoring resources if they have them on campus, or reach out to other peers for tutoring if maybe your campus doesn't have tutoring in a specific area or course. They do look at the types of classes that you're taking. So if you're taking just a flat out easy course load, all easy classes, just the easiest classes that you can get, they're not challenging, that might not hold as much weight, even if you have a higher GPA, as someone, for instance, in the behavioral sciences who they've had statistics, they've had some of these other more research methods, they've had some of these more challenging courses as well. Also, get to know people in your program, department, college by continuing to attend those events. Hopefully, you've been attending events on campus anyway, but now as you're getting more involved with your major, if you have settled on a major, then if they have a special speaker coming in we had one coming in from New York on a topic that's related to that field, go to that workshop and just get to know the people within the department, the college. You want to be viewed as a positive departmental citizen, because guess what? When we're sitting around, and sometimes we're doing this thinking of, oh, we need to send a student representative to this special committee, or we need to nominate a student for this particular honor. Oh, who do we have? So there are certain names that bubble up from multiple people because these students have been around, they've been involved, they made a positive impression on multiple faculty members, and you want to try and be one of those people who the faculty members know. So continue keeping a record of everything you're doing, because again, with those grad school applications, you're sitting there the fall of your senior year, I promise you're not going to remember that thing that you definitely think you could never forget right now. You'll forget it. So please continue to keep that record.
I will share that I was really bad about that. So I had that experience. You get to senior year and you're like, I don't feel like I've done anything. Like, I don't have any worthwhile thing to add to grad school. And then you start to reflect and you're like, oh no, I've done a lot of stuff.
I know. I just didn't,
better to keep track of it on the front end.
I know. I learned that. I got better about it in graduate school, but I was really bad about that. I could have done better as an undergraduate. If you know that you want to go straight into the workforce, now you want to increase your engagement with a few campus organizations. So now, hopefully you've been able to explore them. You might want to get involved on a specific committee, or, run for a specific office. So get involved and in those campus organizations. Again, still, it's better to have a few high impact experiences than a whole bunch of experiences where you're just running around from thing to thing and you can't really give your all of your effort because you're spread too thin. So be careful that you do not overcommit. Also, if you think you can swing it, begin to obtain some off-campus experience. Now, some of my students and some of the students across the nation, they're always engaged in off-campus experience because they're having to work to put themselves through college. Great. Well, I don't know if it's great or not. Great depending on the circumstance. But if you can tailor that experience so that it's related to your field, this can be helpful. Well, I'll just give it a personal example. So I was working, one of my jobs in college was like at Barnes and Noble. So I love books. So I probably spent most of my paycheck. But anyway, working at Barnes and Noble as a bookseller. You think that's pretty straightforward. She sells books, helps people find books. That is what I mostly did. But I made a positive impression on the manager. And so after a few months, they had an opportunity for a community relations manager. Well, at that time, I was a journalism major as an undergraduate. That fit perfectly in with what I needed to do. That this other person quit, or I don't remember what happened, but they had an opening to fill. She asked if I would like to sort of split my work and fill that role. And it was a wonderful opportunity. So sometimes there are creative ways if you have to work to try and align it with the future work that you want to do. You can also obtain this through volunteer experiences. So remember, all of your experience does not have to be paid. But volunteer experiences, shadowing opportunities. You know, we've had some fabulous alumni who just recently, they set up a shadowing opportunity for some of our students here at the University of Houston. And this can be a good way to kind of have a day-long experience where you go and learn about a specific career opportunity, but then you can also put that on your resume, you know, that you had that experience. I've had a student previously who she went and spent a week at a different organization. So that's a great way to even get an extended shadowing experience. But again, this is something that goes on your resume and demonstrates that you have prepared for what you are interested in doing, that you just didn't have this great idea in your head and you don't really know anything about the practical on-the-ground experience of engaging in that work. Community organizations are another way. So there are a lot of nonprofit organizations that they might have specific boards or committees that they're looking for people to serve on. This is a way for you to really get some leadership experience or programming experience or experience, you know, in sort of communication, working with a group on a project. And, you know, so if there is a nonprofit organization out there, you know, explore that as well. Sometimes serving the community in that way, through a community organization is a really good way to get some great experience. Even at those fresh out of college positions, they want experience. Sometimes they want a couple of years experience, which that can be frightening to students who are coming out of school and they're like, well, when have I had time to get 2 years experience? Well, all of the experience does not have to be paid experience. So hopefully you've been able to volunteer or engage in some other way through an internship, certainly if your program requires an internship. And then too, if you are working a part-time job, you can try and, again, tailor that work and try and make it something that is related to what you think you might want to do, something that's somehow related to your major, because experience is huge. So that's why now my top 2 pieces of advice are talk to people, find out about what people do, or else you'll never know all these different jobs that are out there. And then 2, just do something to begin to get experience. It doesn't have to be exactly the thing you want to do later on, but just start getting some experience interacting in an organization or business, because that sells typically better than anything else.
Thanks for watching. Do you have other ideas for how to best survive and thrive in your sophomore year of college? Leave them down below in comments. And as always, you can hit that like or subscribe button if you're so inclined, or you can check out this playlist over here of other videos I've made about careers and graduate school. And remember, keep going and keep growing.